guys, how you doing? It's Rabea. Hope you're all good. So you may have seen a brand new product from Victory Amplifiers that came out really recently, and that is the Victory Kraken V4 amplifier. So in essence, this is the V4 preamp, the Kraken V4 preamp, which you may be able to see on screen somewhere now. And essentially it's got a Class D solid state power section that can run at 180 watts at 4 ohms. So I'm holding the sort of beta unit. It's exactly the same as the main unit, but I've got the production model set up here to do the demo with, as you can see with the overhead camera. But I just thought it was cool to show you like a close-up. So it's exactly the same as the V4 preamp in terms of what's in there. So you've got one EC900 and 3 CV4014 preamp tubes, which is the same in all the V4 preamps from Victory Amps. And essentially, it's a really cool thing. The V4 preamp you could put in the effects return of an amplifier or a clean power section, like a solid state power block. And it would give you the Kraken tones. You could slave another amplifier and kind of utilize the amp's power section to give you the Kraken tones. This is different. It doesn't do that because obviously you've got your own power amp in here. So as I said, it's 180 watts at 4 ohms. The way you've got to think about it is if you plug this into an 8 or 16 ohm cab, it sort of divides the wattage down. That's why it's 180 watts at 4 ohms. So if you were running at 8 ohms, you'd have 90 watts, which is still deafeningly loud, especially this little thing. I've run it through a 412 for the trailer for the main overview video we shot, and it was really loud for a 412, through a 412 even. So other than the wattage and the way that it works in terms of the mechanics, being that it's its own standalone amplifier, we've got 2 channels as you would expect with the VX. So you've got gain 1 and gain 2 modeled exactly the same. It sounds really nice. So if you're familiar with the V4 preamp, you'll know how this sounds. You've got a 3-band EQ on it. You've got 2 masters, 2 gains, but we've also got the addition of built-in reverb now, which is a sort of a reverb chip that they used on the Duchess as well. It's like a nice plate kind of reverb, but it's great that it's in there because the Kraken doesn't actually have reverb on it, so that's really cool. You power this with an IEC, like a kettle plug, and what's really nice is you've got a maximum of 500 milliamps 9-volt out on the back to power another pedal. So you could power a delay pedal with this for the loop, or you could power your tuner or your favorite overdrive to put in front of this, and it's all held in-house. You don't need an extra power bank to be able to do that. But I guess the most exciting feature, which you've probably already heard, is that this has a built-in Two Notes cab sim out. So on the back of this, you'll be able to see on the close-ups, you've got a cab sim out with an XLR, and on the side you've got a little USB. So yes, that means you've got built-in Torpedo virtual cabinet suite built into this device. And the best bit about it is that, let's say you didn't have a computer with the suite on it, you've still got 6 built-in IRs that come out of the cab sim that I've personally made myself, that you can access on this little rotary 6-way preset switch. So you've got up to 6 cabs to choose from, as I said, that I've made the presets for. But if you wanted to plug it into your computer, you could do that, open up the Torpedo remote suite, which we'll show you. You can mess around with it, build your own presets, and also you can add your own IRs, which is something I love to do. So that's what I'm going to show you as well. We'll go through the virtual cab presets that I've made, a few of them. Then I'll show you what it sounds like with my sort of go-to IR combination. And yeah, I've also decided that I'll plug it into a load box, but it's kind of a bit pointless in this video because, you know, you'd plug that into a cabinet in a rehearsal room and it would sound like that amp coming out of that cab. Whereas when I'm running a load box, you're hearing essentially an IR. We're also going to hear the cab sim out, which are IRs, and also my preferred IRs. So it's kind of neither here or there to show you what it sounds like powering a load box with a cab sim on top. So in any case, we're going to focus mainly on the way this thing sounds if it's running into your interface or front of house. And also if you load your own IRs onto it. There's also a balance line out on the back, so you can run this into your interface and load up your own cabinet IR software after the fact. It's really useful if you run the neural plugins, for example, that you could run this into your interface and then load up with your favorite neural plugin cab, and then you could essentially run it like that. Lastly, you've got a Footswitch input on the back that can control the channel, but it can also control the reverb, so you can switch that on and off if you want. Just to say at this point that this is kind of like a biased, slightly sponsored sort of situation, in the sense that I work on the R&D team with Victory, so I sort of get sent these products to give my feedback to Martin, and we work together on tuning them, especially the Kraken range. So, you know, I am happy with the way this sounds. I already know it sounds good because it's a product I've been involved in. So my opinions about this are obviously a bit biased. They're my opinions. So this is more just, what do you think it sounds like? I'm just going to show you how it sounds with a bunch of guitars, and that's kind of the vibe of this video. Okay, so in terms of my setup, you can see the overhead. I've got effects loop set up, so I'm running the UA effects in the effects loop. I've got the Astra in front for some modulation. I've also got the Bender fuzz from JHS, the 1973 Bender fuzz, and I've got my Revival driver, my little pedal board setup. I'll show you a little still of what that looks like on screen now. So that's the pedal board that's happening. As I said, reverb and delay in the loop, all the other stuff's in the front. But we're also going to hear the reverb in the unit first. Other than that, I've got a speaker cab out, which is going to the aux box, which we'll hear a little bit of, and then underneath there's the XLR out there that's going through to my interface, which is how we're going to be able to hear all the IRs and such. Okay, let's crack on into this. So I'm using my Aquilar Elite S from Mayonnaise. This has got the silo humbuckers in there. We're going to use it in some of its split coil tones to show you the sound of the Kraken Gain 1 stage. As you can see, I'm running it on pretty low gain actually. I've got some reverb dialed in, EQs at halfway, and as you can see from the screen grab somewhere on screen now, I'm running the copper 4x12 preset that I made. This is for the kind of pushed clean ambient thing that I like to do. So this is middle position and we can make it cleaner. Bear in mind, with a Strat or low output it'll be even cleaner, but here you go. Let's add some more reverb. I'll split it into more of a coil now. So as you can hear, it's a really glassy sort of clean stage, especially with that cab preset. Now if I put loads of reverb in, so you can get kind of ambient with it. You can definitely use it to play like nice push clean leads if you just want to do that sort of vibe. To me, it's a really nice sounding gain stage. You know, it isn't a clean channel, but you can definitely get a lot of mileage out of it in the sort of cleaner area of things. But let's just throw on the effects loop now. So I've just thrown on the Starlight and Golden Reverberator from UA Effects. Throw on the Astra. So I could get kind of carried away with that, but it sounds really nice. Again, As you can see with the gain so low, but with the bridge pickup being quite high output, we might change up the speaker model now. Let's try a different one. Let's go with this one. So I'm using gain 1 now really high up, as you can see, and the idea is finding a cab preset that will allow us to, obviously it's going to add loads more low end with all the gain, especially on gain 1. It's definitely not as edgy or as articulate as gain 2. So we can back off the bass a little bit, boost the mid and the treble. Yeah, and let's have a listen. So it's not mega like intense yet with the gain, but if you throw on the revival driver in front, so yeah, with a bit of a drive in front, it definitely gives you like a high saturated, chewy kind of lead tone, which is really nice. So let's try a different cab model now. Again, a kind of low gain thing, but with the revival drive in there. So this is the Sheriff 412. With the revival drive. So I'm taking that 2x12 again, as you can see on screen, the screen grab. I'm using the Starlight and Golden Reverberator, and I've got the bender in front now with a bit of low gain. Check this out. Now that we've heard a few of the different cab models on gain 1, let me just show you what it sounds like with my preferred IRs on there. Okay, so this is pretty much the same settings. I've just boosted a little bit of mid. Sounds really good. Let's throw it on with some reverb and delay, a bit more of a push clean on the same IRs. Okay, so you've heard some of the cab presets on gain 1 and my preferred IR. So let's try gain 2 now. Okay, on to gain 2. This is cabinet preset number 1. This is kind of a leady vibe. So it's got a nice amount of mid-range. I've dialed in the reverb on the amp, and you can see gain 2 is quite high, but here we go. Okay, so that was cab preset 1. We've heard the copper, which was cab preset 2. 3 is more of a Strat thing, so let's move on. I also made some that were tighter and better to use with a baritone. More lead tones. This is the Kraken 412. So we've heard a few of the cab models that I made for the... So we've heard some of the cab presets. Let me just show you what it sounds like with my own IRs that I prefer to use. Well, sorry for the complete nonsense that I was trying to play there, but I was just trying to show off some of the lead tones that you can get just from the amp. I didn't use any boost or anything in front there. Anyway, let's try it out with a Strat because I think that's also well worth mentioning. All right, so back to game 1 to show you some Strat tones. I've got the copper cab set up because it's really nice for the push clean thing, and I'm running effects in the loop. So here you go. Bend a fuzz. That never gets old, that pedal. I really like it. Right, let's try it with a revival drive, back off some of the gain. One thing I like is that the EQ is really responsive, so it's good. This is the 212, the Duchess 212 that I use for more of a high gain strap tone. So you boost gain 1, use bridge pickup. And I've just loaded up my own IR again so you can hear it in another context. A really nice bridge tone for a Strat. And again with a revival drive in front. Okay then, so there is a look at the Victory V4 Kraken guitar amplifier. Yeah, I'm really proud of it, to be honest, because I think for all of those that wanted to get a Kraken, this is more affordable. This is about I think it's like $749 or something. And when you consider all the features that are packed into it, I think that's a really good price, I think, personally. It's my opinion. But the fact that you can run a cab really loudly, but you can also run it without a cab at home into your computer, dial in your own virtual cabs, load up all the Two-Notes stuff, put your own IRs on there, create presets, select them on the front. You know, it's got a lot of nice modern features, and I think that was something I was kind of pushing for within the Victory range, and it seemed to make most sense to do that with the Kraken. But I'm just really glad and really proud that it's finally here. And the best bit is that, you know, it fits in, you know, your backpack. It's not heavy, you know. I'd say it's maybe 1.5 kilos, 2 kilos max. But yeah, you could travel around with this. You could power your favorite pedals off it. You can run it front of house. I'm going to try using these for some fly gigs when we get to gig again. I'm really interested to know how I could hook it up with my gig rig board, for example, and just run 2 of these front of house and travel without amps and cabs. I don't know if I'd do that, but I could. In any case, yeah, it was just an overview of the product, and for me to say, hey, it's out here now, check it out. I'm really happy and proud of it. And I think if you get a chance to try one, you'll probably be impressed with how good the tone is and how loud it is. But again, all my opinions. I'd like to know what you think in the comment section below. But as always, thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe and share. Please check out my new record that I've done with Liam Kearley, which is the Totemist, and it's the EP 2880. I'll link it in the description box below. Mega proud of that. And yeah, hope you all have a nice day. I'll see you all very soon.